know God got a plan for me, but I don't know what it is. Hopefully to have a beautiful wife and a couple kids. So many things trying to hold me back in this world. Plus life's so much harder when you black in this world. I'm just trying to put my family in a much better position. People disguising as friends, really they my competition. But I'm on a mission, the pressure risen. I try to hit my partners up to vent, but they too busy to listen. Can't drop the ball. Some hating on me, others waiting on my downfall. Never know how long we got here, that's why I'm in a rush. People think they're untouchable until they get touched. Ain't no limit to the struggles life will bring. Still every day I be hustling, doing my little thing. I ain't trying to play the victim, so I never ask this question. But could you pray for me if you get an extra second? I know God got a plan for me, but I don't know what it is. I'm just out there trying to handle my biz. I know God got a plan for me, but I don't know what it is. I'm just out there trying to handle my biz. I know God got a plan for me. Yeah. I know God got a plan for me. I know God got a plan for me. Yeah. Yeah. I know God got a plan for me. Yeah. Yeah. I know God got a plan for me. Yeah. I know God got a plan for me.
For me.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Theoretically Speaking Podcast. Sorry that we didn't really get to it earlier this week, Monday, like we usually do. We were busy, some things came up, but for that reason, we wanted to get it to you today. Thank you for everyone who may be tuning in. I know it's midday, some of y'all are working at school, what have you.
They got that lunch break going on.
But either way, I'll be posting the YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts link in the description later on today in the comment section, so you can go in and tune in through there. But with that said, guys, we're going to be touching on some what we feel to be some really relevant things going on in the country right now. One of them being inflation. Like, we cannot go on without touching about that. That's just crazy. And then maybe a little bit of why that is, who our leadership is. That's kind of in a leadership role to control that, and their failure to do so. But Mike, how's your week? Oh,
It's going. I mean, you know.
Yeah, bro.
Can't hear it.
It's still going.
Bro, I just said that whole thing, bro, with the music thing.
That's all right.
My audience is probably like,
He's like trying to like
what'd you say?
talk over
I was
that.
thinking, like, how am I gonna concentrate with this song?
Bro.
Hey, guy got a plan for you.
John, guys, that was John's fault. For not
Checky.
turning off the music.
And I lowered the
That's-
volume on the TV because I'm like, that's annoying.
Okay, let me repeat what I just said for those of you who may have been distracted by the music. Guys, episode 7, Theoretically Speaking Podcast. We couldn't do it earlier in the week because stuff came up, but for that reason, we wanted to do it today. For anyone tuning in, we know you guys are working at school and what have you, but we thank you for anyone who is tuning in. For anybody who can't right now, I'll be posting the YouTube link where you can watch us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts later on in the day. Today, episode 7, we want to touch on inflation and the people that are in leadership roles to either control that or their failure to control that, and it's just going out of control. So we want to touch on that. And with that, Mike, how's it going, man? How's your week, bro?
It's always good when I'm here with you guys. Yeah, it's way
for
better.
real.
Always better.
It just feels better coming
Because,
here.
man, there's so much negativity going on, and you got to surround yourself with positive people.
You gotta decompress.
You got to
here.
laugh. You got to, enjoy life because,
Yeah,
man.
100%, man.
Man, I heard somebody make a post on Facebook. She said, if we did something, ooh, what's up, Lupe?
Oh, baby.
Lupe.
I saw someone put a post and it said, if instead of cancel culture, we just had something like conversations. What was it? Oh my gosh. I want to give a shout out to the person who said it, but I don't want to put her out there. Maybe she doesn't want to be out there. But basically, it was like, if we just had good conversations instead of trying to cancel each other, well, we just have
We'd get somewhere.
Civil dialogues, and that's kind of what this is. Like, that's why I love this, and I mean, I remember I used to post on Facebook and stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that can get lost in interpretation in Facebook because you don't hear a person's tone. They can't explain themselves, and there you are trying to like type fast enough to explain yourself in the comment box, and it just goes off on a tangent. So
And then think about look at the time, how much time it takes you to make that status, and then like how many people you reach. Like, in the grand scale, it's like two people that really like follow the whole thread. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I really love the way that we can get together and talk about these things here.
That's the only way we can do it. Any other way would be like either like shadow banned or censored or,
Yeah.
discourse
Yeah.
is the best.
We're gonna be on YouTube.
And face
we
to
might
face,
still get shout
face
outs.
to face discourse.
Yes, exactly. Like talking and stuff, voicing different opinions. And I finally got the whole Joe Rogan thing where they're trying to cancel him just because it's a neat story too. You're like, wow, dude. Like the mainstream media just does not want anything to do with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, they want to cancel
Even though he made, did you see his rebuttal video? It was legit. He was like, see, what used to be called misinformation just a few months ago is now considered fact today. And I'm like, oh, bro, preach. That's a church I want to go to.
Like the way they banned Kyle Rittenhouse from all these donation websites, and they banned him from Facebook. Anybody supporting their his cause, like they would get canceled. And turns out he's innocent. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me, man.
Well, I mean, it's like I had mentioned in a previous episode, man, that, I mean, there's actually an initiative called the Trusted News Initiative between news corporations and tech moguls or tech giant companies, where they're going to define what true information is. And they literally said in a statement that their definition of misinformation is anything that's contrary to the official narrative set out by the World Health Organization and their partners or representatives throughout the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I'm talking about partner and representative, obviously I'm talking about countries and the main people that are saying, CDC and all of that. So, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, this will be, I don't know, kind of like a question where, you don't really have to answer. You could just kind of ask yourself in your head, or you could put in the comment box, if you want to. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think there's an actual elite organization, or elites as in plural organizations, that are literally trying to control the narrative and control the people through propaganda and gain more power through this propaganda and misinformation, right? Because they call our information misinformation, but really theirs is the one which is the misinformation. So it seems to be pretty obvious to me, especially in these last couple of years, that that's the case.
100%.
But I wonder what y'all listening think about that.
Also in the questions, like, guys, voice your opinions. Like, put what you're just most like not content with this administration, the way it's going, the whole. Because remember, this president got the most votes in history. This idiot that is a dementia patient with a crack pipe son loving, that never gets attention in the media. Bro. Like, what the hell? Imagine if that was Donald Trump's son. Smoking crack, like chilling with videos. Show the video, John. Play the video.
Yeah, imagine the way Biden is like carried by an aide, because he always has an aide with him, grabbing him from the arm. Imagine if that was Trump. They would have already impeached him for mental.
Oh yeah, remember when they
tried
North Korean the dude what's his name?
Who?
The North Korean
Kim
leader.
Jong-un?
Yeah, he's like he called Trump a dotard.
Yeah.
And it was the most Googled word. Like, what the hell does that mean? But it's basically a person, a senile like in mental decline.
Yeah.
Bro, what is the irony of that?
Yeah.
Now look at where's Kim Jong-un when you need him right now? Like,
yeah, we need his support, man.
the biggest idiot in office.
Play that video of
Man, I'm so mad at the way this whole thing is going, this whole country. Inflation, wait till we get to that. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Are all of you, generic question, are you getting less resistance when you start talking about wind and the windmills?
Yeah.
I know they cause cancer. It's a bad joke. I shouldn't have kidded about that. I shouldn't have kidded. But all kidding aside, I mean...
I think we should schedule a visit, and we'll talk with the therapist.
Look, here's the
I'm not
crack.
going
Look
to
at
argue,
this.
and I don't want to
Imagine
talk
if this is
and
Donald Trump Jr.
Where did they grab this
make
video?
things worse.
It was one of the leaked videos from the laptop.
Straight.
This video. Why was he recording himself?
Bro, he's so dumb.
Bro,
His own
that's why,
laptop.
like, his dad is an idiot in mental decline. And the apple does not fall too far from the tree. Look at him.
There's also like pictures of him naked with like just like a button shirt and with boxers.
And I had my son Hunter, the
Look at this.
smartest
The
guy
crack
I
is
know.
hitting real good. He's like,
He's somewhere else right now, bro.
Alright. I thought we had I thought we had audio on this video, but I guess not. But anyways, I mean the whole point of showing you guys that video is, I mean, like I was telling you earlier, Miguel, bro, it feels like I'm in the Twilight Zone, bro. Is it like, it's so crazy that the, what do they call it? The leader of the known world or whatever?
The leader of the biggest, baddest country on earth.
Yeah.
Of the free world.
Is this guy that like has dementia, cracks the craziest jokes. His son is a crackhead who was in a position of power as it regards to, or as it pertains to foreign policy with Ukraine. Ukraine being a nation that borders
Russia
on one of the most, serious threats and or enemies or whatever that we have. And there he is running foreign policy with him and doing the things that he's alleged to have done, right? Because I mean, the State Department isn't bringing any charges against him, which is crazy. Because, like you said, if it was Trump or Donald Trump's son, Trump Jr.
with that crack pipe,
for sure they would have brought these charges against him. But again, my personal perspective is, man, these are just pawns. These are just pawns in the greater scheme, and my personal opinion,
pawns
right?
that are paid off. Yes,
They're paid
trust
off.
me that.
Is that, there's really this group of globalist elite on top of them who are really running things, I mean, honestly, in my opinion, I think organizations like the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberg Group, the World Economic Forum, when these leaders get together and they start talking and they have these meetings and they negotiate, who knows what they're talking about? The United Nations. I think it's groups like these that are actually, the CIA, top people in the CIA. I think these are the people that are actually controlling the decisions that are being made via these type of individuals and or leaders.
And it's a bit more clear now, because before you had presidents that looked like they could take hold of a country, that they could manage it, but now we have a president that it has dementia. Every time he speaks is incoherent. Like, you have to think that there's someone else running this. Like, it's definitely not him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he even remembers what he ate for breakfast.
Again,
like 2 hours after
and
he
the big
woke up.
problem with that is look at the hypocrisy, right? If that was Trump with all these, because what does the media do? They don't show that. You know what I'm saying? We don't see his little mental blunders, right?
Yeah.
But if it was Trump, I don't know what the cause was, but they're like, oh yeah, this guy's lost his mind or whatever.
CNN would not shut up. They
would not shut up about, and that's because his son was not smoking crack. That's why he was actually, the policies that Trump, like he would say something and he would come through with it. We at least had that with him.
Yeah.
Well, I think the good part is that because they were like that, CNN ratings have supposedly dropped by like 90%.
Yeah.
Was it true that Joe Rogan has more viewers than CNN?
Oh,
and I like that. I like
100%.
that.
100%.
Oh, a guy was researching why that is. There you go. And he said it's because Joe Rogan does not lie to his audience. There you go.
Yeah. It's
Every
an open
politician lies
discourse.
to us. And that's how Trump won.
I don't think it's necessarily that he doesn't lie.
That was part of it. That was part of it, yeah.
It is that he doesn't lie, but that's not to say that he doesn't say things that are, or that he always says things that are factual, right?
Yeah, and
it's the way that he says them. He's being as honest as he possibly can. That's the thing about him.
Yes.
Right? And the audience doesn't care. Like, I don't think audience, like me personally, and I think most people are like this, that, hey, look, I don't care if everything you say to me is not 100% factual.
Yeah.
I do care that you're telling the truth to me to the best of your ability.
That it's genuine.
And it's genuine, that it's authentic, you're being as transparent as you possibly can, right? Because, I mean, you don't expect anybody to know everything and the perfect statistics for every situation.
Yeah.
Right?
And here's the thing: when you're wrong, you got to admit you're wrong ASAP. That's another thing, right?
Yeah.
How many times do you see CNN and like, oh, we reported that ivermectin was bad and this and that.
On the
and
contrary, they doubled down.
They doubled down on their idiocracy.
Like after the whole thing where the medical guy went on the Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan called him out, being like, "Dude, how do you feel being a part of this news network that just blatantly tells lies? They say that I was taking a horse pill. I mean, this is a pill.
Gupta.
It won the Nobel.
Gupta, that was Sanjay.
Gupta.
Sanjay
and he's telling
Gupta.
him it won the Nobel Prize in science for, and it's a medicine that's been around forever. I took the human version, right? Because there is an animal version, but I was prescribed this medication by a doctor, You know, and how do you feel about that? And then later on, CNN went and they doubled down on it. You know,
Yeah, with
like
Sanjay.
instead of just, I don't know what they could have said.
And he
honestly.
was like, Sanjay was like, yeah, they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that. And after he left the podcast, he doubled down on CNN with Don Lemon.
Who
Don
who,
Lemon
who
had-
pays Sanjay? Joe Rogan or CNN?
and I think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
and
bro.
I think that's why they're losing subscribers, because it's an insult to our intelligence for you to double down. Like,
It's
how stupid
dumb.
do you think I am?
It's like, why would you like bend because Joe Rogan's in front of you and then double down? But when you already discussed it with Joe Rogan and you agreed with Joe Rogan that yeah, they shouldn't have done that. Yeah, like that was not okay, and he was just like bending towards Joe Rogan. You know, like he wasn't doubling down in the moment.
Yeah.
Only after he got out of there.
And they really are like insulting the intelligence of the American population, because you think about it, guys. We've okay. It's not. What was it? When did the pandemic hit? It was like January of 2020.
I know exactly when it was because remember.
What was it? Was it 2020
It was March.
or 2019?
It was
2019.
Remember the first. What do you mean?
Or was it?
The first known cases. Here's what happened. Okay, watch.
Okay.
The NBA, the first NBA game that got canceled was in March. It was during spring break.
Okay.
Okay,
That was
of 2020. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's
So my point
when.
is-
From that, yeah.
So it's been 2 years. So my point is, you're not talking about like it's not March of 2021 where it's just happening. We don't know any guys. We've been in this thing for 2 years.
Remember we watched our
Most-
groceries when they came.
Yeah.
Like, watch your groceries.
Most of Americans have been at home with nothing to do but watch YouTube and Google stuff. Like, we know what ivermectin is at this point, and you're
Yeah.
trying to tell us what it is. You as a news organization cannot just tell us what truth is. Like, we can Google it for ourselves now, you know, and you're insulting our intelligence by saying we are able to differentiate stuff. So we're able to gauge the severity of things by this point, and we know that ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, these other things that they get, man, they got mild. Nah, man, I can't think of the other one. But anyways, we know that these preventative medications worked.
Yeah.
And we also know that they're trying to some extent cover up the effectiveness of these preventative medications.
Of course, which that's
Because-
evil, dude.
Well, bro, did you hear about what happened in like those provinces in India? Okay, let me just give a short story. So like this province or region of India were like getting annihilated by the vid, bro. And what happened was, I don't know if it was the United Nations, but they basically just started dumping boxes of what they thought to be preventative medications there in this region, just so these people can just self-administer and hopefully kind of suppress the outbreak of it there, right? Well, bro, there's no longer any cases there in that region. But Biden ended up meeting the Prime Minister of India, and he told them specifically not to release the information of what was in those boxes. So,
That's crazy.
Wait,
and
and
I-
that is verifiable.
huh?
That's the thing.
Where did I hear this news from? I heard it on the Joe Rogan.
I mean,
show.
it's right
Bro,
along the lines of what they already do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they don't want cures for this. They don't want cures for that, especially because they have they have an agenda with the whole COVID, like lock people down, mandate them. Let's see how much we can get away with telling people what to do, and that's why we had the truckers going on right now. They're like, dude, enough's enough, and they cause this big old blockade. That's what's up.
And
I
they
wish I
also-
was a trucker just to park my
Yeah.
big ass truck right in the freaking at Trudeau's house, right? Park it right at his house, bro.
yeah, bro. There's so much going on right now, but they're all interconnected.
It's all
Yeah.
connected. The money,
It's all about freedom.
the stimulus. What was that quote you were just saying? Like 40% of the money has been
Yeah.
printed out, right?
In the last year.
And given to
40%.
people for different causes, not even having to do with COVID.
Yeah.
Forget COVID, right? The COVID relief fund is what they called it, but
Yeah.
it's going to all this, and that. And now we're experiencing the craziest inflation pretty much ever. They said since the 80s, but if you use the measure of how they came to that number in the 80s with inflation, and you apply that methodology to right now, dude, the inflation right now is way worse. And they're not going to tell you that. They're not going to report on that
Why is it worse now?
because of the methods, the way they used to calculate it back then. And if you use the same way of doing it right now, then you come up with a way different number.
With the simple statement that 40% of the money was printed in the last year, that's all you need. 40% of all the money printed in the U.S. after we got off the gold standard.
So of course, and that, yeah, exactly the key. So you print more money, and the more you print, the more it's going to lose its value.
And 40%, like, God I don't want to say it, but damn, man.
But the
For real. Yeah, that is a lot. John, can you put that picture?
You're allowed to say the F word once, bro. Say it.
Oh, bro, that's it, bro. You should have used it for another, like,
Damn, bro.
Cause it's a big point though.
Right
like
there.
it's
Throw
a
that
huge
up.
point. Man.
40%.
can we keep, now, you know what? Okay, so, oh, what are you looking at, John? Oh, my bad. Oh, I thought you were doing something. This is by CNN Business, so we all know we could trust them.
We already know this is the most legit.
For real.
Oh,
I mean, you know we're not being biased here because
No.
we're
Because
literally...
it's CNN.
man.
Inflation sticker price shock from January 2021 to January 2022. Gasoline has gone up by 40%. Whew. I remember during the pandemic when Trump was in office, it was like $1.60. I think it went even lower than that. I think the lowest it hit was like $1.30. But I remember average it was around $1.60. The price of used cars has gone up 40%. I was a car salesman, and for my friends still working in this industry, they say they're selling a lot less cars, but the amount of money they're making per sale
Is astronomical.
is great. Food at home 7%. That seems low, in my opinion. I got a family of 5. Meat 13%. That also seems low.
Yeah.
That seems low. I mean, I think right now the ribeyes are like, I like steaks. They're like,
Well, okay, when it comes to the meat for steaks have gone up 20%. So that's just like a ballpark average on the meat because different
That's like
meats
an
go up.
overall.
Yeah.
the Bureau of Labor Statistics is the source. So
They're saying a big recession is coming in the year of the Shemitah. I don't even know.
So I mean, what is inflation for anybody who's listening? Who doesn't already know, inflation is just kind of like how it sounds. Like when you inflate a tire, just basically means it goes up. So the price of things are going up, and usually that's directly correlated with the value of the dollar, right? Because obviously, if the value of or the purchasing power of the dollar is going down, then you need more dollars to buy stuff. So therefore, you know, you go to HEB, and what you used to be able to buy a gallon of milk for $2, now you're getting it for $4.
Yeah, you get less bang for your buck.
You get less bang for your buck. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. But there's a lot of things associated with that, right? Because not only is it just obviously inflation, right? We saw during the pandemic that wood was crazy.
It's still crazy.
I was doing a real estate. You actually work at home.
I see it all the time, bro. Like these pieces of wood, like a 2x4 costing $25. What?
Yeah.
Like, and you just go through the lumber aisle, and I don't even like. I want to do some projects at my house. I don't want to do any projects walking through that aisle anymore.
Yeah.
I walk through the aisle and I'm like, nope. When I have money. Yeah,
Dang.
man.
I think this is why inflation, besides the point that you made, that the way they figure it from 1980 is different, but this is why I think it makes it even way worse, the fact of inflation. One of them is the supply chain issues.
Yeah.
I went to Home Depot the other day, and they said the warehouse for the OSB board had burned down, so they don't have no OSB board. I've gone for cabinets. I've gone for a lot of different things, and they said we don't have it. Our manufacturers, they don't know when they're gonna be able to provide it.
Yeah.
So it's the supply chain. It's the inflation. The inflation is affecting how much we can buy. Because of the supply chain, it's affecting how much companies have in stock, how much they can sell. That's affecting their revenue and profit margins. That's might be affecting the workforce. I mean, I don't know how many people have. I'm a sole proprietor, so I pretty much work for myself. So I can't really speak for the labor force or really tell you. I'm not in the thick of things where I can say, hey, yeah, man, I have friends that they had the company had to lower their workforce, cut overhead or whatever. So I mean, I really don't know what that is. I know a lot of people are now working from home. That's one way that companies are saving money, I guess, because they're able to minimize the amount of commercial building or space that they need to be renting in order to provide for their workforce and stuff. But I think it's all of those things put together that's really making the times that we're living in crazy, hard, and obviously uncertain going forward. Because I mean, is it ever gonna be the same? Like
big time
I
uncertain.
think it's easier to know that guys, we're not going back to the way things were.
No,
Nope.
no, we're not. You guys know about Thomas Sowell?
Yeah,
You guys know
yeah.
Thomas Sowell?
SOWEL.
Yeah, well, in an interview, he said that before Biden was president, he said, if Biden becomes the president, this will be the biggest turn point in American history. He said, like, this will change everything if he's president. And now we're seeing the effects of it.
Yeah.
Like, front face, we're seeing the effects of it with gas, with food, with all the prices going up. And I don't think they're going down anytime soon, man.
So this is what do you guys say, man?
Like, why would they go down? Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
like, there's
if
no-
all the companies, which you already know, the head of the company decides what goes down, it trickles down, chain of command. But they're getting this money right now. Why would they take a pay cut? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so the whole thing is not necessarily that it's to stop it from going down, but it's to stop it from increasing at the rate at which it is.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's the key. So, as a matter of fact, in fact, it's not going down, but the rate of increase can go down, but it's still a rate of increase.
Yeah.
It's still going up because it keeps on going up right now, which is unprecedented levels. Then, bro, there's going to be civil unrest. I mean, we're already seeing people are starting to wake up. You just said it right now. Like, people were like really starting to wake up now. I think more than ever.
I mean, let's go into a little bit of theorizing. Like, because the people that are running this country cannot be totally oblivious or naive or ignorant to the fact that this stuff is happening. And they have a lot of power to control these situations. And it seems like they're just allowing them to continue on. So a couple of things that are happening. I think there is a deliberate agenda in this country to really make the economy suffer for a bit. But that's for the purpose of restructuring the economy. Because the top percentage of individuals in this company, the rich, the corporations, they're not hurting. The ones who are hurting the worst are the bottom 50% of the country.
Bottom 80.
We're the ones that are losing. I mean, it was like what that
middle
individual
class.
who was saying that 40% of the money printed in the last year or that exists in circulation was printed in the last year. In that same interview or that same speech that he was giving, he also said that the ones who benefit the most from the stimulus package, the pandemic packages, and all that stimuli are the richest. Why? Yeah. Why? Because 89% of the stock is owned by the top 1% in this country.
Yeah.
Or the top 10%. I don't know if that, but either way, 89% of the stock. These rich individuals, they have accountants, they have bankers, they have the connections. They have everything you need to take advantage of this money. When there's a grant or loans that are given or all that stuff, the bottom 50% don't know what to do. I know because I'm trying to start a business right now. And I'm looking into grants and loans and oh my gosh, where do I start? And you call up a banker and you ask them questions and they're just kind of like, well, you can do this, go here, follow this link or whatever. You pretty much got to look into it on your own as opposed to being one of those top 10% and having the money in order to pay an accountant to where, hey, invest the next week or two or however long it takes to look into this and make sure that I get this grant or loan right here. They know how to take advantage of it. And as we've seen, all the resources in this country are being shifted over to these individuals. They already own 89% of the stock, like I said. You look into things like, Nestle Corporation, how they own all this water.
Dude, I was see the water rights. Remember Bush and all that?
The water, the land. I spoke on it. I think I touched on it briefly before, but now the nature of the real estate market is changing and shifting too. This is something we're going to be talking more in depth later in another episode in the future. But now these big realty corporations, they're now moving into single family dwelling homes. So they're literally building neighborhoods of homes, and instead of selling them, they're going to be renting them to people. So that coupled with the Airbnb, so the rental real estate, how we're shifting to that, transitioning to that, along with Airbnb, it's driving, and inflation.
Yeah.
All those factors, put together is going to be driving the price of real estate, rent, and et cetera up. And what's that going to do to the average American? It's
gonna squeeze them.
The average pay isn't going up that much, and I'm not saying it should because I don't necessarily agree with the whole $15 an hour minimum wage because that's not the fundamental issue.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna really solve the problem. But again, what is the average American supposed to do considering all these things? Literally, we're starting to transition into a subscription society where everything. I don't know if you heard about that statistic where, this is a very like paraphrase, very general thing, but I remember hearing about this one particular company that they had this David Saw. Who's that? Ronica.
Tell us who it is.
Who is he?
What does he stand for?
What is his position? She'll probably give us more in a little bit, but okay. It was talking about this one particular company, and they offered a service. I think it was a software where you buy it one time and you own it forever, right? Mm-hmm. Unlimited for a lifetime or whatever. Well, then other companies came in and started doing the same thing. But they did it prescription, so where you pay monthly, and then a lot of other companies followed suit.
So you never own it.
So you never own it, and now, like I do websites and I build websites and stuff, and now I'm seeing where it used to be able where you pay one time and you own a particular software forever. Now everything is subscription, bro, and it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like I think I could speak for the common wearer. Like you're trying to make money, you're trying to develop a side hustle. It's overwhelming because everything is subscription. You get emails. It's starting to renew. It's up for renewal. It's up for renewal. It's getting auto drafted from your bank. So all this money is going out. Like man, it's hard to keep up with. Like I need an accountant just for my freaking
for Netflix,
subscriptions.
Hulu.
You know.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is the whole point of that is that the nature or that same nature seems to now be transitioning into the real estate market, bro. Like where you own your home. I mean, already it's hard to own your home because you get a home, you got a 30-year mortgage, you're not going to own it for another 30 years. Yeah. Not to mention the amortization fees associated with the interest on that home, right? So if it's a $200,000 loan, $200,000 price tag after 30 years, you end up paying with interest and everything $500,000, $600,000, something like that.
And so once you own it, guess what? You got your property taxes.
And then property taxes are going up crazy.
You never own that. Dude, and again, it's all tied to, I mean, inflation. I call it the lubeless rape of the American people. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The rich getting richer, man.
But now that, with all that said of what these issues are, what do you think would be a viable solution to the common American?
I would say, like, look into crypto, because that's the next step. Because all the currencies are looking bad right now, and many countries already changed their currencies to crypto.
So let's classify this. Miguel, what are you? 22 years old?
22, yeah.
This is the perspective of a 22-year-old. What should we do considering everything we just talked about? Looking at crypto.
Yeah, looking at crypto because right now it's growing, and there's a bunch of coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and there's like NFTs that you can buy that will grow exponentially. But you need to hop on it right now. And there's some that they have already grown exponentially. But crypto is the money of the people, you know, like there's no inflation. There's inflation, but with big people with a lot of money that go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. So, it just reminded me about this freedom convoy, right? The truckers that are going on GoFundMe, right? So they raised all this money. It was close to $10 million, right? So
I heard about that, bro.
They froze it. Or
They
took
froze it.
right?
Yes. Yeah. So they're not giving it to them, right? And you're just like, what in the world? Because they're occupying now. It's not a protest or whatever. But when you look it back, last year when there was the riots going on, the Black Lives Matter, this Antifa, all this stuff, dude, GoFundMe was just boom, 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 giving it to them. So again, it's just massive hypocrisy, and it's just like, bro, twisted. Everything is just so twisted. So with the whole Bitcoin thing, I mean, we could use that. Like we don't need the middleman of GoFundMe.
Exactly. Bro, what was that whole scandal? Do you know about that? It was supposed to be like, I don't know, COVID relief or something was actually being funneled to Black Lives Matter or something.
Like the money that Black Lives Matter raised was not one penny was given to any black community or for any cause for black people or to help them. Actually, one of the leaders of Black Lives Matter, she's a woman. I don't remember her name.
Is she even black?
What? Yeah, she's black.
Oh,
But she bought a couple houses on Beverly Hills, and the money that she bought it with is like unaccounted for, and you could basically assume that the money that she bought the houses with was donations from Black Lives Matter, because nobody has seen that money. And states where they were raising money, you have to have a permit or some certain agreements to raise money, so you can because it's a nonprofit, like you're supposed to say what you're using your money for.
Yeah.
And they haven't even released that. And there's an ongoing investigation right now. Like
It kind of sounds like what the Clinton Foundation did with the Haiti Relief Fund.
Oh yeah.
That's so crazy. I feel kind of bad for laughing, but it's so it's so ridiculous that it's a little bit like funny, bro.
You can't deny
like how can you be so like ruthless, like just with a smile on your face, get up on TV and be like, guys, there's some really bad the hurricane in Haiti, and if you just send the money now to the Clinton Foundation,
and they put these
and you will be doing your part to relieve the suffering of many of these people in Haiti, and then like you come to find out like none of it went to anybody in Haiti, bro, and like who even got that money? I don't know. Like construction companies that just went over there and waved at everybody, and then we're like, hey guys, we're just here to say that we're gonna do some construction to help you guys out, but we're just doing this for TV, and then like later guys, it's been fun. I like the food. Y'all get a lot of great. Bye.
Bill Clinton probably calls Monica Lewinsky like, hey, here's some cash for what you went through.
These people have no shame, bro.
That's hard to do.
shame.
That's hard to do. Like to lie blatantly in front of everybody. Like I could never do that, bro.
I think that's why people are waking up like and like really like hate politics, like hate these people because they're so greedy, so corrupt. You throw them cash and they're like, oh, I'll do it. I'll sell our whole country just for, you know what I'm saying? And you're
bro,
like,
these people are so far detached from the average American. Like, I mean, bro, they're borderline sociopaths,
and
man.
this is why Trump won.
Yeah.
A non-politician, boom, running for president, not mayor, not working his way up. No, I go straight to the presidency, all right? And he does it because people are so fed up with everything that's been going on.
Politicians, like it's
Because that's what they do.
It's like a recorded tape. They sound the same. Like you listen to these politicians, Democratic politicians, and some Republican, and you listen to Justin Trudeau. They sound the same, and it's like they were reading a script before talking, and then they say it, and they even take their pauses, so like they don't mess up what they had already rehearsed.
Yeah, and then they flip flop views just according to like what's going on to help them get voted again. Because if they stay in office, they have power and they can get more money in office.
And they appeal to emotion more.
Yes.
They start talking about facts, and they're like, think about your kids, think about your family, like a bunch of stuff like that. And then you see Trump, and Trump is just going off script. This guy's just rolling with it, winging it. He's having a good time. Like he seems way more genuine.
Done.
Yeah, and he sounds way more genuine. Like I would have definitely voted way more for Trump than any other politician out there. And it doesn't matter that he's not a politician. I just trust him more.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, considering all that, Mike, what would you say would be a solution for the average American? Like, I mean, what are we to do about that?
I mean, you know how they say like, oh man, that's a good question because it's so deep. Like,
so let me give my perspective, right? From somebody who has a family of 5, including myself. You know, you made a good point on investing in crypto, but I think ultimately, especially considering the volatile landscape of the economy, politics, I mean, anything at any time could happen. I mean, I don't know the likelihood of it happening. Crypto seems at this point to be a pretty solid investment, right? But I think at any point, the United States government could be like, you know what, we're shutting it all down. We're shutting it all down. You know, we're shutting Coinbase down or whatever. You know, these wallets and apps are, or whatever the case. You know, and we're doing it. I mean, they did it before. Matter of fact, they did it when they removed gold, or what was it in World War II? Where
the gold standard.
I think they were confiscating gold and stuff like that. But
Oh,
anyways,
yeah, after the gold standard, yeah, they're confiscating it.
so I think the thing that should be done is just to try to be, for one, you know what? I think for starters, because everyone's situation is different. My situation is a little bit different than a lot of, like, you can't tell me like, hey man, you need to invest in this, you know, you need to start diversifying your portfolio, you need to start prepping. I think that's good general advice to start prepping, but that could be different for everybody's situation. So for me, I don't have any extra money to invest.
Yeah.
I can't be investing in crypto. I can't be buying gold and precious metals. I can't be investing in stock. I can't invest in land because I don't have money to get land. My credit's bad. I can't go get borrow to get land. Like I can't do any of these things.
Exactly.
So what would be the advice for somebody in my position? Well, this is what I think from my perspective. The best that I can do right now is to try to create more income streams. To try to get as much skills as possible so that I can create more income streams. What does that mean for me? That means I go on, let's say, udemy.com and I learn how to do social media marketing. I get a case, buy a course, learn how to do some social media marketing, learn how to build websites, start this podcast, another couple of things. I'm doing things with the meat. I want to start an online meat market. But the purpose of the online meat market is not just to sell meat. The purpose of the online meat market is to start to cultivate local relationships between farmers and consumers, relationships that have been affected or have totally become detached because of the commercial or industrial agriculture.
The big middleman.
It used to be a time where you get milk and eggs or whatever from your local farmer. It's not like that anymore. And I think because considering the landscape of the economy, politics, and etc., we need to start to recultivate those things, guys. Because when stuff hits the fan, as they say, bro.
I think we are gonna say that.
When
The dog poop. When it's flung.
when the poop hits the propeller, bro. When it happens, bro, all we're gonna have is each other in our local community.
It's happening already. Like
all we're gonna have is each other in our local community. These major corporations, Home Depot, Walmart, what have you, they're gonna be like, hey guys, we're out.
Yeah, peace.
We're out. That's it. You know who you're gonna have? Your local farmer.
Your neighbor.
You know what I mean? And we gotta start to recultivate those relationships because we've come to a point in society where we're so like individualistic. It's like my career, my job, I make my money to buy my truck, to do my thing, you know what I mean? But we gotta start thinking like a community, and we gotta start thinking and start at the very bottom, start wherever it is that you can start, but for me, that would be the answer. And because of that, I divert my attention away from a lot of things like that most people are paying. Like, for example, I don't watch the playoffs in the NFL.
Playoffs?
I don't watch none of the NFL playoff games. I don't watch none of the NFL playoff games. Why? Because I'm focusing on other stuff. Because I'm trying to because to me, this is a very serious situation I'm in. And I would feel super guilty, me as a father, if whatever happens in supply chain, we can't get food, it's crazy or whatever, there's nothing on the shelves, and here I am at home with my 3 kids and my wife looking up to me, and what have I done to prepare for this?
Yeah, exactly.
Not enough. I don't know what I'm going to tell myself in my head, but my answer to myself is going to be like, apparently not enough. And I'm going to think about all those times and hours and everything that I invested in watching Netflix. And watching playoffs games, and I'm going to be highly disappointed in myself. And I see it. I see the writing on the wall now. So for me, that would be the answer. Guys, diversify your portfolio as much as possible. If you can't diversify your portfolio, start investing your time in things that you can start to develop other income streams. Guys, a real estate license is $250 and you can get it in 3 to 6 weeks online. Get a real estate license. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but my point is you got to start focusing your attention on preparing yourself, your family as much as possible. And if you don't got no money to invest, then invest in yourself, in your skills, in your knowledge.
Yes.
Invest in that at the very least. Mike, what do you say?
And a woman. The fact that we have people in thinking a woman is the actual thing. Amen, a woman. No mames.
Yeah.
Bro, that's another insult to our
the
intelligence of Americans. My gosh.
I'm telling you, it is getting nuts. And here's the thing is they're serious. Like they think we're that stupid.
Yeah.
And I think we got this. Let's divert to how community right now, because community is very important, right? How I love the fact that these people are coming together. Because I watched the coverage, and right now you've seen the protest, the Freedom Convoy, the truckers, right? Now, you guys know that. What? For instance, and this happens all the time. So the leader, Justin Trudeau, right?
Yeah, Justin.
What does he say? He goes on and he says, "Oh, it's the fringe minority," right?
Yeah.
Dude, I love Elon Musk's tweet in response to that. He said, "I mean, it would appear as this so-called fringe minority is the government. And did you see that? And I was like, hey man, dude, that is, I mean, that's awesome. And here's the thing, and it all ties back, bro. And now we're seeing how it ties back to the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, guns. It's actually a very important concept because the Australians, right? They're protesting. The Canadians, they're protesting, right? And right now they're gonna try to remove them by force. Like, it wasn't in the cards yet, but these guys are serious. The trucker, and they're getting support, and that's why GoFundMe, right? They didn't give them the money. But they're like, nah, that's even more fuel. They're adding fuel to the fire. So the next step is like, okay, how do we get these people, out of the way, because they're blocking the supply chain, right? Ford, a couple automaker plants, right? So suspended, or they called off the shifts because the border, right, and all that. So
they're taking away their gasoline too, like their gasoline.
Yeah,
They're not letting you
Yeah,
buy
yeah,
gasoline.
the law enforcement.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the government can go in there, remove by force, and do all this thing. See, and don't think that America does not want to do that to our own government. They want to do that to us.
Yeah.
Right. The only reason we're not like the Chinese, Australians, Canadians, they don't have arms. They had all their guns taken away.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important that we do not, because our founding fathers noticed that, hey, if the
It
government
goes deeper than that. It
Yeah.
goes deeper than that. Not only because they don't have arms, they don't have a constitutional amendment that says they have the right to bear arms to begin with. So, I mean, you could go and you take away their arms and you could say, hey, I'm doing this because there's a law that now we just passed a law, we can do it. They don't have that here. We have the Constitution. I mean, that's one thing that I think we take for granted all of the time. If there was no amendment that says we have the right to bear arms, I'm pretty sure there would be certain states that go in and try to take people's arms. As it is, legislation is in a lot of states is, I mean, there's states like New York and stuff where you pretty much, you can't bear an arm. You can't have an arm in public. The concealed carry and stuff, they find little loopholes where pretty much you can't have a weapon unless it's at your home. And I mean, the only good of that is if they're breaking down your door. But I mean, you're making a good point.
Check this out. And so it goes like this. The only people, right, according to the government, right, it's always according to them, the only people that can have the guns is us, the government, because we'll protect you, right? But in the case of these mandates, they're shoving down our throats, like, I should be able to choose whether I want a damn needle in my arm or not. Like, I shouldn't have the government telling me, right?
Yeah.
I should be either informed enough to be like, okay, assess the situation. Do I really need this virus when, I mean, I'm super healthy. I eat tons fruits and vegetables all day. You know how I eat, you know what I'm saying? Why should I need a vaccine? You know what I'm saying? But now you have the government telling you what to do. So how are we going to protect ourselves from the government? You see what I'm saying? I think gun owners are the smartest people just because they have guns. You know what I mean? It's like
anything happens in your home, the cops are not gonna get there right away, and you're by yourself, fending for yourself.
Yeah, and that's just an example. But now we're talking about like the bigger picture. What happens when the government is trying to enforce everything? What happens when they take away cryptocurrency? Or what happens when they take away this or that?
Russia banned it.
So what is the point? That little straw, right? You keep putting the straw on the camel's back. You put hundreds, thousands. But there's always that one where it's like, and it breaks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is that point?
To
The truckers right now doing the protest, they already had they're done with that. They're like, dude, we're not leaving until this changes. And the thing is, if they do deploy the military to get them out, it's just gonna cause more people to go. Shoot, I'll go. I'm not a trucker. Let's freaking go. You know what I'm saying? Because this is important, bro. Like, they don't have the right to bear arms. We do. We see where this is going. It's like, dude, you think take back to the Holocaust, right? You think if all the Jews had guns and stuff, what do you think's gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? It's like, try to put me on a train. Pa, pa, pa. You know what I'm saying? And that's all. That is basically where it comes from.
Bro, they actually did an interview of somebody that was a survivor of the Holocaust and the Nazi concentration camps, and they asked him, like, how did all of this happen? And what the guy said was, I think it's very relevant to our time and our situation now. He says, well, it happened really slowly. I mean, you got to remember the fact that Hitler started implementing a lot of the policies that he did in Germany around 1933. The war wasn't over till 1945. That's a 12-year time span. for us, right, that's like if we go back to 2010 and we start asking ourselves, man, what started happening in 2010? What policies did they start passing back then? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what he said was, he says every time they would pass a new thing, we thought to ourselves, if we just comply, it'll be over soon. You know, so at first they started making them wear those yellow stars, right? And then, they started like shutting down their business slowly, and then
began to the media. It's one
and
step.
then it was like, hey, this guy wasn't in compliant. We're locking up him. We're shipping him off. And then the other people in the community are like, okay, they just shipped him off, but we're fine because we're compliant. And then it got to the point, hey, we're looking for anybody. We're looking for everybody.
And even before that, like before they put stars on your chest, before that, he was indoctrinating children.
Yes.
They put him in charge of his political party, and he started a Hitler Youth.
Yeah.
And he started indoctrinating children, teaching them that Jews are
The enemy.
they're the enemy, and like I was reading that a lot of kids looked up to Hitler. Like if he was a rock star, they had posters on their walls. Like that is like the biggest.
And not just the
impact.
Jews. A lot of the people that were like special ed, people that were sick. He was following like Darwinism. Like the evolution.
Yeah.
Like we need to create an inferior, a superior species type of thing. So everybody doesn't meet the cut, Jews especially, and then everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that to me is, and it always goes back to the damn frog analogy where it's in the water, but you slowly raise the temperature, right? Until it's like, dude, you're so in deep, you're in heat, like you're going.
And
down.
I think we're at that point now. I think we're at that point.
When we have proof.
We're in it.
We are in it.
And for Hitler, it only took like about 20 years because that was when he got out of the First World War. He started the Hitler Youth, and by the Second World War, these kids that he was teaching all this stuff to, they were already 18 years old and up, and
running the concentration camps.
Exactly, and they had no problem doing it. No like bearing of conscience, like
because they believed in it.
Yeah.
Because they were conditioned, pre-programmed from a young age. Yeah.
Yeah, man, to think about them that way. And it only took like what I'm saying again, like 20 years. Like it's been happening here, like brainwashing. We don't even know it. We've just been conditioned.
Yeah, I think we're at a point where the average American, for one, if we're not already awake and we're not already savvy about what's going on, then we need to wake up. And once we do wake up, after that, you need to be willing to sacrifice to some extent, whether it be your time or otherwise. Because what it seems to be is that these people, they already know that they control us to a great extent. See, because talking about these truckers and the convoy, it's kind of like bittersweet. It's sweet in the sense that I'm like, man, people are waking up and they're really doing something about it. But it's also bitter in the sense that I'm like, man, the government and these elites, they know they have so much control on us right now that they don't even care.
I think they do care.
I think they don't.
When they see a lot of people, like sea of people, you know what I'm saying, and then people fighting back, like, oh, the fringe minority is like, nah, like you're the fringe minority.
It's aggravating to them.
Yeah, it is.
It's aggravating to them
because there's way more of us than there are them.
Let me give you an example of how they don't care, right? One of them was what recently happened in Wisconsin with the school board, where parents were speaking out about how the school board and what they're teaching our kids and stuff like that. And one of this Democrat's responses was, "Well, just let them homeschool." Why did he say that? He says that because he knows the nature of our education system now. He knows that most people need to work 40 hours a week to provide for their family. He knows that the way they provide their family is by buying groceries at the grocery store. He knows they don't grow their own food. He knows they don't have their own water source. He knows that they can't build their own house. They don't have the knowledge to do that. They don't know how to can foods or do any of that, right? He knows that they have to work. Because they have to work, he knows that they have to send their kids to a public education system. There is no. We're at a point now.
It's public.
We're at a point where even if we want to, what is the alternative? We can't homeschool our kids, and he knows that. So he's kind of making like a sarcastic joke, like, "Well, homeschool them." Yeah. We have you so by the balls, as they say at this point.
Dude, for sure, and it started back in the Industrial Revolution because they needed bunch of factory, and by they, of course, the people that own the factories, that own
and so what I'm saying
they
is,
wanted free education.
Yeah.
And they invested in it, right? And that's why they don't teach you jack about
So-
financial, no taxes, how to make money. They don't teach you entrepreneurship.
They don't teach you how to be
Anything
a
having
boss.
to deal with money, they do not teach you
Yeah.
in school.
Just follow
it's
orders.
it's conditioning. So you are told what to think
Follow
and not taught
curriculum.
how to think. And then they quiz you on what you can regurgitate. That's just your obedience. Oh yeah, I gotta memorize this. Okay, boom. What about critical thinking? That is the main. Joe Rogan is the epitome of critical thinking. He likes to talk to a bunch of different people, get a bunch of different opinions,
Question.
and then boom, let's get the facts, and stuff like that. Critical thinking is so important to pretty much everything in life, right?
Yeah.
So one thing they don't teach in school. How crazy is that? Because when you start
It's
asking
almost
questions,
contrary.
when
to
you ask
critical
questions
thinking.
and questions, the more questions you ask, well, the closer you get to truth. And the last thing that the people on the top, the people that own the factories, that need the factory workers, that need the manpower to run these machines, they don't want them asking questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the same time, they're living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, and they're so busy because they need that to live that they don't have the time to think for themselves. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same educational system we have right now. It originated in the Industrial Revolution. It's like, hey, we need people to be conditioned to just to work and to run our machines, and that's why they don't learn anything about. I mean, everybody in the
Yeah,
U.S. has
like-
to pay taxes. How do we not learn that in school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what was that Rockefeller quote? It was something along the lines of, I want to raise a nation of workers, not competition, or something like that.
Yeah, there's a guy.
And that's the point that I was making, is that, even with these truckers and stuff, the government knows, hey, look, these guys can only do this for so long, and pretty much, eventually, our average population of citizens, they need to get food. They got nowhere else to get it from. So, to a certain extent, they're not worried about it. They're not worried about it. To give a little bit more perspective or context to that, during the Great Depression in the 1920s, 1 out of every 4 Americans was a farmer. And it was still bad then. Now, you have 2 million farmers feeding the rest of the 330 million population. I think I've said this before, but it's such a profound fact
Yeah.
that, again, if stuff hits the fan or if poop hits the propeller, man, what do we do? And we're so unaccustomed to being to partnering with each other, to bargaining with each other, sharing with each other. We're so
Like,
unaccustomed to
helping
that.
each other
What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
What do we even know how to do? We don't
If
know how
we
to
don't,
build houses.
if we don't know how to do that, then I don't know what we're gonna do, because that's basically the basis of any civilization. Like, you help each other out, and that's the easiest way to grow. Like, nobody can do this alone.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much easier to go with your neighbor and, hey, I need something. You know what? Can you help me? And then he says, I can help you. Can you help me? Easy.
Yeah, and it's for that reason, guys. For our audience listening, to anybody who may be listening on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, guys, start doing that. Start supporting people in your local community. For those of you that are watching that are part of our local community, support this podcast.
Put in the
because-
comments. Yeah, like businesses and stuff. Like people. What do you call it? Right.
Hey, if you're a business,
Yeah, if you're a business,
and
put your
you need
stuff.
support, comment
Call
it,
us.
reach out to us, message us. You know what? I should probably create an email for this podcast and tell people to email us. One thing we want to do is we want to start helping businesses market and promote themselves, local businesses and stuff. Help promote and subscribe to our channel. I'll give you some information. I'll post a link later on in the comment section. But subscribe to this channel, guys, because one of the goals that we have with this channel is if we could get to the point where we have just a good enough income, we want to start doing research in our community about the people that you're voting for, the people that you're bringing into office. Why is that important? Because for one of them, the example that I'm giving, the educational system, what they're teaching our children. Another one is the policies that they're going to start bringing in and they're going to start trying to implement in the state of Texas or in our region, right? One of those policies being the ESG credit score, where they're going to start gauging your credit on how poor or how qualified you are to borrow money based on your ESG score. And ESG is an acronym for what? Economic, social, and government.
I'm not sure.
But basically, I don't know how they're going to do it. Your carbon footprint, if you're recycling, and it all goes together with that whole United Nations agenda, the 2030 agenda, the new reset, like all of these terms that are very unfamiliar to the common American. But guys, it's happening. They're doing it. They're moving towards it.
And it's going one way.
They want to control. They want to control your resources. They want to control your money. They want to control where you live and how you eat. They want to control this. The alternative of that for us, since they want to control these things, is we need to start we need to start becoming more community oriented.
Amen.
You know, there has to be an alternative to the way that we do money, whether it be barter, crypto, or otherwise. There has to be an alternative to the way that we get our food, our water, etc. Whether it be sharing with the community member or otherwise being like growing your own food, having your own well, etc. You know, getting your own land. We got to start thinking, or at least to some extent thinking like
rewiring the brain.
Rewiring our brain. You know, I mean, I think all of us, because we grew up in the generation that we live in, and I'm speaking particularly for my generation, I don't know how it is for older generations, but I think all of us to some extent are indoctrinated, myself included.
Me too, man.
Because it's so hard for me to detach myself from that way of thinking.
It's so hard to think outside the box of something of a way that you've been thinking like since you were small, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man, like there's no way around it. You have to really, really think about it and understand that what they've been telling you is maybe not the truth, you know? Like, maybe this is not the picture that we're supposed to see.
Yeah.
Like, before I started getting into politics, I didn't really think much about Black History Month. But now I started seeing some videos, and a lot of people, like a lot of black people, they're against it. Because Black History Month is American history, you know? Like, they shouldn't have a month. It should just be history.
Yeah.
Like, they shouldn't be, like, just giving black people a month. That, like, it's not that they don't deserve a month. They deserve the whole year, you know? Like, it's history.
Yeah.
And you think about it, and it makes sense. Like, yeah, why do we have a Black History Month? Was it to compensate for slavery, or, like, what? Because that's the only reason that seems viable. Because Black history is American history. There's there's no reason to label it, you know?
Yeah.
And you don't think about it. When I was smaller,
that's how it started.
when I was smaller, I didn't think about it. I was like, oh, Black History Month. I mean, I guess they deserve it. They deserve Black History Month. But do they really? Like, it's not that they don't deserve it. It's just history.
Yeah.
You know?
Bro, that's a crazy concept because you could take it super deep. I mean, it's human nature for other humans, and of course, it's the ones that are more inclined to power, to greed, to ownership, right?
Yeah.
To take advantage of other human people, like that's a thing. That's why you had the white people taking advantage of the black people. Just, you know, work needs to be done. Okay, boom, they're gonna do the work. We're not gonna pay them. We're gonna give them just enough to live, this and that. But now we're talking about a different slavery. The game has changed. You see what I'm saying? But it's still slavery. Like, we are enslaved to, like, the dollar. Who's printing the dollar? Okay,
so
the Federal Reserve.
society.
Who's the Federal Reserve? They're not even owned by a federal institution. Like,
Yeah.
how the heck does this happen? Like, we're legit enslaved right now.
Yeah, it's
And-
become more economical in slavery. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, economical.
So it's not, you know, ball and chain type
I
slavery.
mean, we're pacified by the gratifications, you know? I think that's a huge one.
Yeah.
We're so
also.
pacified. It's like the whole Roman Colosseum concept, man, where Rome was falling and everybody was just being entertained by the gladiators, you know? We're kind of like in the, we're pacified by the Netflix, you know? We're pacified, and like I said, it's understandable to a certain extent because the average American works 40 hours a week. They get home and they're tired. What do they want to do with their free time? And what do they, even if they wanted to do constructive, what do they know what to do? Because what has the educational system taught them to do? Nothing, bro.
Follow a curriculum. That's it.
They give you so much information on a wider range of things, like how many, you know, when you're a kid, how many legs does a starfish have? Just stuff that's totally irrelevant. How much of the stuff that you learn over the 12 or 13 years that you're in school is relevant to what you're doing right now in school? How much stuff is relevant that they did not teach you, like you were talking about, the taxes, credit, and all of that stuff?
The most important thing, like, every single American needs to pay taxes. Every single American does not need to know algebra.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
And that's because algebra is actually, it's one of the more important things, but the crap you learned in history about the Indians and the Thanksgiving, and first of all, it's a twisted story to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
well, like 70% of the U.S. workforce, like, requires no degree.
Yeah, and I mean, and now with artificial intelligence and everything that's happening, I mean, just your iPhone. I mean, who needs algebra?
That's another storm waiting to happen. It's all happening at like,
but imagine if they just would have taught you that taxes and tax loopholes, where the average American know, hey, you know what? I throw some chickens in my backyard, I get an agricultural tax credit, right?
I got a cow.
For example, I don't know if you could do that, or you need a certain amount of land. I don't know what, but I'm just saying as an example.
Yeah. No, for sure, that's good.
What if they knew, hey, if I have so much land and I have a friend living on the land, I could get, you know, I'm providing housing for somebody else, I get another tax credit there. Oh, if I start a sole proprietor business I can get a lot of tax write-offs in reference to business meetings, tools and stuff. I can sell pencils,
Yeah.
and I get another tax. How many Americans know that? None. Imagine if there was one class that taught that and all the loopholes
Yeah,
and ways.
one class.
One
Just
class.
one class.
Like,
Not a whole.
Just the profound impact that would make on a whole society if that class was taught to everybody.
Exactly. Like, how many leadership skills can you learn in school if you're not in sports?
Yeah.
Because sports teach it a little bit, but it's more like individual. Like, they just teach you to follow a curriculum, follow orders, and if you want to be a leader, you can talk in front of class or you can make a presentation.
Student council.
Exactly. And whatever the teachers tell you, you have to go with. Even though whatever political leaning they have, like, they could just say whatever and you have to follow it. Like, there is no defying the teacher.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's not like you can, like, talk back to your teacher. You can't. You just follow orders. And that's how people with degrees work. And I mean, not everybody, right? I'm not generalizing, but this is how they teach you to think. Like, they wire your brain so you do something and you have deadlines and you do them and you get rewarded and then you have to do it again and again.
Yeah, they tell you what to think and they don't teach you how to think.
Exactly.
You know, again, the critical thinking and the stuff that really matters, how to solve, real life problems.
Exactly.
Bro, let's start a school.
Yeah, I've been thinking
Sandals
about
wanted, right?
Like,
We gotta
and
ask
I've been
Sandals,
thinking
if you're
about it.
watching.
Like, that's one of my goals in life.
We're
Starting
gonna
a
start an
school.
educational co-op. Donate to the cause, baby. That's
Yeah,
another
dude.
Hey,
reason.
check it out.
No,
And-
really, I want to. I love
The name
to.
of our school, this podcast is theoretically speaking. The name of our school is factually speaking.
Yeah.
That's just the way it has to be.
For real, bro.
Yeah.
But anyways, closing arguments. Mike, anything you want to close with? Let's
I
wrap
want
it
to
up.
close with let's go Brandon, but the F word in that, like, that's gonna really fuel my heart, bro. Like, he has no business
That's
being
what I
our
feel
president.
in my heart.
He did not get the most votes of all president of all time. That's the dumbest thing I've heard. His son is trash.
A crackhead.
Alright? The media does not report on it. Inflation is kicking our butt, bro. Let's go. Let's go to Canada. I want to be in Ottawa. Let's take
Let's
a
go, Brandon.
little Honda Civic just to park it on the sidewalks at least. I don't care, bro. Like, stuff needs to
Yeah.
change because it's not looking good.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
It's not.
Those are my final thoughts.
Final thoughts, crypto, guys. Research more about it because it's growing. Even though you don't got a big portfolio, just look into it because that's the future, guys. But if you look at it, governments are leaning towards crypto more and more every time. And if you look at it, big government are buying into a lot of crypto and they're doing it for a reason.
Bro, supposedly a lot of billionaires are holding a lot of crypto.
Well, Russia banned like buying Bitcoin or
Yeah.
or cryptocurrency, so they can monopolize it all in
Yeah.
Russia. And like, if you're able to buy just like $10 of crypto every paycheck, do it and research what coins like could potentially get really big, or for the same reason, like. If your money is backed up by the U.S. or if you're using the dollar, the euro, it's gonna be losing its value every day, just because of what's happening right now.
I agree with that. That's sound advice, guys. That's what I would say. Piggybacking off what he said, diversify. Put $20 a month in a crypto. Buy a little bit of Ethereum. Buy a little bit of Bitcoin, whatever. If you want to look deeper into it, there's courses out there like BitcoinRich.com by Christopher Green. He's been on top of it for about 8 years already, researching into it. He was previously worked for, I think it was Merrill Lynch, but he worked for a huge bank before the 2008 recession and then crash. So he's been in the thick of things for a really long time. That's one place where you could go to learn about crypto, or you could just YouTube stuff. So there's that. Partner up with somebody, some family members, invest in some land, try a flip, try a remodel, get a real estate license. Like I said, $250 at realestateu.com, I believe is the website. I mean, looking at that, guys,
Help each other out.
help each other out, support your local community, buy local, support this channel. That's what I would say as far as that, because you're talking about individuals, regardless of your political beliefs or where you stand. One thing about us, me in particular, and I think it's true for the local community, is that if my local community goes down, we all go down.
Yeah.
If our educational system, our supply chain, our grocery stores, if they're shot, we're all shot. So I mean, I don't care if you're Democrat, lefty, I don't care what you are to a certain extent. I'm for the community. I'm for supporting your business.
Supporting each other, stop fighting.
So yeah, with that said, guys, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, I'll be posting the link in the comment box later. YouTube, Spotify, how you could support this channel. God bless. We'll see you next week, Monday or Tuesday.
Bye-bye.